He goes on to say, Mr. Cooper circles over those hungering for answers and sets his sights on this money-making opportunity. Oh, socialism! I would advise these people to go somewhere where they will get everything provided for them by the government. That's what they really want. To go on. Then he swoops down, dangles a few hunger-satiating revelations in front of them, and says, "Come, walk with me, for I and I alone can lead you to that promised land. Follow if you will, but don't forget to pack your checkbook." More socialist talk, and you've never heard me say, "Come walk with me, for I and I alone can lead you to that promised land." You have heard me say you're going to hear information on this show that you will not hear anywhere else, and that is true. That's always been true, and it always will be true, for as long as I'm allowed to have this radio show. And what's all this stuff about checkbook and money-making opportunity? You notice at the end of this, he recommends that you listen to Tom Valentine and Chuck Carter. Both of them do the same thing I do. They sell merchandise on the air. And Chuck Carter has membership that you can join also, and sells books and all kinds of stuff, and even talks you into coming down, staying in his hotel, and eating in his restaurant. But he recommends Chuck Carter and Tom Valentine, but when I do it on my show, there's something wrong with that. This is an old socialist trick, folks, to try to discredit someone who's putting out information because they charge for the information. Yet I bet this same person reveres Oliver Stone and went and paid admission to see that movie and didn't say a thing about it. Well, folks, I'm not going to justify my attempts to support my family and pay the rent and put food on the table, because I don't have to. Because every smart person in this world knows what that's all about. And when all you do every day is research and radio shows and travel and lecture to people, then that is the only way that you have of paying the rent and putting the food on the table. And that doesn't work anymore, folks. I am an American. I believe in capitalism, and I do not believe in the socialist ideas of the little twit that wrote this. Remember, there's a $100 reward for the identity of this person, our persons, our organization, plus a free membership to CAGI. To continue, on October 19th, Mr. Cooper detailed how he now has a brand new, never-before-seen version of the Zapruder film. Gee, where have we heard that one before? Well, I never said it was never before seen, but it was never before seen by the public. Some of it. The public's seen most of it, but they haven't seen the missing footage at the end and the footage that has been cut out in the middle, and they haven't seen blow-ups of each frame to show them how the film has been doctored. You're going to see it in my documentary. You'll see it with your own eyes, and then you'll be able to judge it for yourselves. This person's never seen this film, but listen to how they've already judged it, and they already know what's on it, and they're already trying to destroy it, which means this film is extremely threatening to these people. To continue, in this latest revision to his sideshow, Mr. Cooper states that while William Greer still is the one who delivered the fatal headshot, that's what the film shows, folks. On October the 19th, I also said that the film has been extensively doctored, and either William Greer shot the president or the film has been doctored to make us believe that he shot the president. I also saw in top-secret documents while I was a member of Naval Intelligence way back in 1971, 72, and 73, a document which stated that William Greer shot the president in the head. And I'm not the only one who's seen these documents. A television producer named Linda Moulton Howe was shown the same documents in the Air Force Office of Special Investigation at Kirtland Air Force Base by an intelligence operative named Richard Doty. So I'm not the only one who saw those documents that said that. And either it's true, or those of us who saw those documents or were shown those documents were told that or shown that to make us believe that it was true. And the film shows it. Now, either the film's right or it's just another incident of how the film has been doctored. And specifically, that section of the film has been extensively doctored, and you'll see that in our documentary. Then he goes on to say here, an even more amazing event occurs just after he has shot the president. Unveiling his new video masterpiece, Mr. Cooper presents his revelation that the entire front windshield of JFK's limousine is blown out, and then shatters like dust onto the street in front of a horrified onlookers. That's another lie. I never said the entire windshield was blown out. I never said it shatters like dust onto the street in front of horrified onlookers. I never mentioned onlookers or dust. But the film does show a bullet penetrating the passenger side of the windshield right next to the chrome on the side, and it shows glass spraying back into the car and alongside the car and down onto the street. It shows it. And it either really happened or it's another incident of how the film has been doctored to deceive us. And to me, I don't care which it is. It proves conspiracy. And that's what I'm after. I want these people caught and tried and hung. Hung. All of them. The ones involved in the assassination and the ones who have covered it up for this many years, all of them. Even those men who sat on the Warren Commission, because they are accomplices. Under the law, if they help to cover it up, they're just as guilty as the man who pulled the trigger. Understand that, and that's what scares these people to death. They're shivering in their boots that the public will ultimately find out who the assassins really were and who the accomplices in the conspiracy and the cover-up really are. So, here we go. He then proceeds to regale his audience with a 10-minute monologue on his expertise on the subject of sniper etiquette, underscoring this with his implied authority in that area. As dozens of questions danced in our heads, oh, your little children, is it Christmas time? One we puzzled over was, just how does a Navy AV boy, trying to insult me and emasculate me with the same terminology that they have used on blacks for many, many years, boy, who set up slide projectors and passed out paperwork for a Pacific Fleet briefing team, becomes such an expert on the fine art of military precision riflery. This person even professes to know what I did on the intelligence briefing team of the Commander-in-Chief of the Pacific Fleet. And he doesn't. Well, folks, when I was in Vietnam, I was a patrol boat captain, one of the few enlisted men in the history of this country who have served as commanding officers aboard combat vessels in time of war. And I performed my duties with distinction, earning many combat medals, too, with the V for Valor. I'm proud of my military service. And I'm also proud of the fact that not one member of my crew, while they were actually under my command, were ever wounded or killed, although we participated in combat almost on a nightly basis on the Takan River near the DMZ. I was frequently assigned Marine recon teams who were placed under my command and were on my boat, my vessel, and I could use them in any manner that I saw fit. I generally inserted them somewhere along the riverbank to set up a LP, or listening post, or an ambush position. Occasionally I was assigned a Marine sniper team. And one of the people who frequently rode with me on the boat was one of the best Marine snipers who's ever lived, a Hispanic gentleman. He was a young man at that time. And I'm not going to mention his name because he may not want the world to know that he was a sniper and has killed many, many people. But he taught me everything I know about sniping and marksmanship, and I am an expert marksman. And I'm going to tell you right now that no sniper, no assassin would ever pick a position with the target moving from left to right in front of him or from right to left in front of him, but would instead pick the target of choice, which is a stationary target. And if he could not find a stationary target, he would choose to have the target second coming directly toward him, because as the target comes directly toward a marksman, the target appears to get bigger in the scope, and it is easier to hold your sight picture. The third target of choice would be a target moving directly away from the assassin or the sniper. The fourth is a target moving obliquely. The last preference, and most snipers and assassins would never even consider it, is a target moving from left to right, or right to left, directly in front of you when you're using a scope or open sights. It doesn't make any difference. You're almost guaranteed to miss. And the closer the target is and the faster the target is moving, the less likely you are to hit the target. So the assertion that there was an assassin on the grassy knoll is absolutely absurd, although there may have been someone up there firing off blanks to confuse the crowd. And I believe that that is probably the case. I have been to the grassy knoll. When I tell you something else, folks, there's trees, there's brush, there's signs, there's all kinds of things that would interfere with an assassin from the grassy knoll. And most of these so-called people that they show hiding in the bushes are nothing more than the play of light and shadow. And you can take any tree and photograph it with the light and shadow coming through the tree, and you can sit down and ponder it for a while and trace the outlines of people and dinosaurs and monkeys and flowers and anything else that your deluded little brain wants to see. So, we will continue. We will continue. First and foremost, let's back up one. Anyone with a good Kennedy Assass library and videotape collection will find it immediately clear that Secret Service agent William Greer never pulled a weapon of any kind and delivered the fatal shot. Another lie. Millions of people around the world have looked at the Kennedy assassination tape after I have told them what I have found in it, and have concurred with me 100% that William Greer turned around and shot the president in the head. Some people can't see that. Some people disagree. Some people say it's a reflection on the top of Agent Kellerman's head. But this person's assertion that any one of you can look at the film and see that William Greer never drew a gun and never shot the president is a lie, because millions of people have looked at the film and have found exactly that, folks. And he continues, first and foremost, Mr. Cooper, how is it that not one of the witnesses ever bothered to mention in hours and hours of interviews that they had seen the glass burst and shatter, as you claim, from the front windshield? Why do the first still photographs and film shot just seconds after the limousine's arrival at Parker Memorial Hospital? Listen to me, you little socialist twit. It's Parkland Hospital, not Parker Memorial Hospital. Parkland. Parkland. You talk to me, get your facts straight. Why do they clearly show blood, roses, and personal effects, as well as Agent Greer talking on the car radio while in the driver's seat, yet the windshield is fully intact? I don't know. I haven't seen that picture. Send it to me. I'll be happy to look at it, and we'll analyze it, find out if it's a real photograph, and we will make comments based upon what we find. But I haven't seen it. I haven't seen any photograph like that. I have seen photographs that are purported to be Kennedy's limousine, which are really Johnson's limousine with Mrs. Johnson's roses laying in the back seat. I have seen that. Well, folks, I think it's time to take a little break here, so hang on. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back after this short pause. I collect old radio commercials from the 50s, from the 40s when I can find them from radio, from the 60s, any old radio commercials. I just like them, so every once in a while during my show I play them. Well, let's get on with this thing. I played that one, folks, because it was appropriate, I think. Just touching this slimy thing makes me feel dirty. We needed some Ajax right then. Well, let's continue here. Continue with this scumbag document full of lies. On page 146 of High Treason, there are 3 clear and pristine photographs. I like the way these socialists always use that word pristine, as if the photograph is a virgin locked away in the tower of a castle somewhere, untouched by human hands. Well, these pristine photographs purported to contain a nick and a small crack in the limousine's windshield, as well as another bullet strike in the chrome frame above the windshield. We have that on our tape, too, on our film, the bullet strike in the chrome frame above the windshield. And he doesn't ask the question.